What's up, DJs? Welcome to part 4 of this series where we're going to be focused solely on scratching. Now we're going to be covering the fundamentals of scratching, so that's going to be including the baby scratch, the chirp scratch, the transformer, and the stab scratch. Each of these scratches is definitely instrumental in your scratch journey. So I'll be showing you how to do each one. I'll show you how to practice each one. We'll also be combining them into different short scratch patterns. And then at the end, I'll show you a complete scratch pattern that you can use in your sets. So without further ado, let's get it started. The first thing we're going to do is open up our DJ app. And before we get started, we're gonna make sure that we have our crossfader set up correctly. So we're gonna go to the settings, we're gonna scroll down until we get to sound. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that here. And then we're gonna set our crossfader curve here, and we're gonna make sure it's on cut. This is going to allow us to have the proper scratch settings and to be able to cut our crossfader left and right. And I'll show you exactly what that means now. First, I'm gonna load up a track, and this is going to be a track directly from the DJ Music app, so you can definitely use the same exact track. So essentially, when we do have the cut crossfader setting enabled, this is what that means. If we have a song playing here, and I go all the way to the right, that song is gonna cut off 100%, so you have no sound. As soon as I move over to the left, the sound is gonna come back at 100% volume. So that's the proper setting that we need in order to scratch. We don't want it to fade in coming back the other way, because then we can't do things like the chirp scratch and the transformer scratch. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the baby scratch first. So I'm gonna first just take this track to the beginning by just holding shift, and then I'm gonna hit Q one time. That takes us back to the beginning of this track. Now for the baby scratch, I'm gonna go ahead and have the song playing. And you're gonna wanna have your hand right around 9 o'clock. That's where I'm always most comfortable. If you're not comfortable at 9, you can go a little bit below to 8, or you can go a little bit above to 10 o'clock, but you wanna be right around this range. Now the baby scratch is gonna look just like this. All we're doing is we're pushing forward and we're coming back. As you do that, you wanna make sure you're going all the way into the track. And then when you come off, you want to make sure you're coming all the way off the track. So you don't want to come back and be too close to here. So it's like this. You want to make sure you go all the way in, then come all the way off. So that's going to be your baby scratch right there. So you can experiment with this a little bit. You can go fast pace, you can go medium pace, or you can go slow. So those are 3 different speeds right there. So you can also go from fast to medium, fast to slow, and you can mix it up a little bit as well. So we're gonna be doing that. And one other thing we're gonna practice right after we learn this baby scratch is dropping on time. So when you drop the track, you're pretty much just letting go of this jog wheel, which looks like this. So as you can see there, I went ahead and actually dropped the track. So what you want to actually practice is having an instrumental or some type of song on the other deck, and you want to practice just dropping that as closely on the one or wherever you're dropping the track as possible, and you want to make sure you're on time. So right now we're just going to do 4 baby scratches, and we're going to continue dropping that track just like this. So with that short exercise there, as you can see, I did 4 baby scratches and then I did 8 baby scratches. But the goal there is when I'm dropping that track, you want it to align as perfectly as possible with the other side. So that's gonna be your baby scratch there. So now let's go ahead and move on to the chirp scratch. So that's our chirp scratch there. So essentially it's really similar to the baby scratch. However, the one thing that we're doing is we're actually now bringing our crossfader into it, and we're just cutting that sound out after we move forward. So essentially same exact thing as the baby scratch as far as moving forward and moving back, just like this. But now, once we get a little bit into the sound, we're gonna actually use our crossfader to go ahead and cut that sound out so we get more of a chirp sound, just like this. Then all we do on the way back is we're gonna pull that jog wheel back and we're gonna reopen the crossfader. So just like that. Now the chirp scratch and the baby scratch go really well together. You can use them interchangeably, going chirp scratch, baby scratch, 2 chirps, 2 baby scratches, and essentially go back and forth as you like. So now let's go ahead and practice that, going back and forth, again, practicing over an instrumental. So there's a quick example of going back and forth with the chirp scratch and the baby scratch. Remember that you can always stay creative and change up things by changing your speed, so going from fast to slow to medium. There's tons of different things that you can do with these simple scratches just by something as simple as changing speeds. So now let's go ahead and move on to the transformer scratch. So that's going to be our transformer scratch there. Now essentially to do this, all we're going to do is we're going to start with our crossfader all the way in the off position here. We're going to go ahead and make sure our track is playing. All we're essentially doing to make sound here is when we're going forward on our jog wheel, we're just going to do a click. And with this click, you can use your middle finger, you can use your index finger, whatever is most comfortable for you. I like to use my middle finger. So what I'm doing is as I'm moving forward, whether I'm dropping or I'm actually holding this jog wheel here, you're just doing clicks like this. So that would be 2 clicks going forward. So again, we're just dropping this, or we can actually hold on to it and we're just doing a click and then we're reclosing that crossfader. So now I'm catching here and then I'm just gonna come back and do 2 clicks back, same way. Okay, so going forward 2 clicks, going back 2 clicks. So now let's go ahead and use this transformer scratch, mix it with the baby and the chirp, just with a little bit of practice. So there's a quick example just showing you how you can use that transformer scratch along with the baby as well as the chirp scratch. So now let's go ahead and hop into the stab scratch. Yeah. So there is the stab scratch there. Now this starts really similarly to the transformer scratch. We're gonna start with our crossfader completely closed. Our sound is right at the beginning. And all we're gonna essentially do is we're gonna let this jog wheel go and we're gonna open the crossfader for a split second. Doesn't necessarily have to be a split second. You wanna open it as long as you want the sound to play. We're gonna open it and then we're gonna reclose it and then we're gonna bring that jog wheel back to the beginning. So essentially in slow motion, we're doing this. Yeah. Catching, closing that crossfader, and then pulling back. So we're only letting a little bit of the song play. Yeah. And then we're immediately pulling back. So again, open, catch, close, pull back. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go ahead and practice that with the track. So there is the stab scratch in practice. Now all of these scratches together, the baby, the chirp, the transformer, and the stab, can definitely be used interchangeably. I would definitely say to practice the baby scratch and chirp scratch a lot first. Get them as close to perfect as possible before you then move into the transformer and stab. However, I just want to show you how all of these can come together as well. So now at this point, I want to show you a quick scratch pattern that you can definitely incorporate into your sets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's the scratch pattern there. So now let's go ahead and break it down slowly. All we're doing is we're starting off with a baby scratch. Then we have a chirp scratch. Now we're letting this jog wheel go.
Yeah.
We're catching it at the end, closing that crossfader, and now we have 2 transformers back. Just like that. So again.
Yeah.
So now that we're right here, we just have a chirp scratch, 2 transformers coming back, then a chirp scratch, and then we're essentially done with the 1-bar scratch pattern.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's that drop at the very end. So again, from the top, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1.
Yeah.
All right, so there is the full scratch pattern there. I really hope you enjoy learning it, as well as learning some of the fundamentals of scratching. One last piece of advice I'll say is definitely practice all of these independently and then practice putting them together. But I'll definitely say that you can do a lot just with these 4 scratch techniques, okay? Hope you enjoy it.